Hello again, it's me, Eric. Now time for another video of movie Face Off. This time it's gonna be 2012's The Avengers versus 2015's Avengers Age of Ultron. Now I know this is really long delayed, but it's still movies that should be compared to because everyone loves the first Avengers movie, but say the Age of Ultron movie fell off. But is that exactly true? Well, we're going to do 5 rounds of this. We're going to do comic accuracy, uh, comic accuracy, the cinematic universe role that has the role it has in the cinematic universe, story, heroes, and villain, which is a bigger one than you might think. So, without further ado, let's just get ready into this movie Face Off. All right, round one is comic accuracy. Now, I know, like Age of Ultron gets a lot of backlash from it not being accurate to the comic source material, the comic story known as Age of Ultron, where Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, uh, creates Ultron instead of Tony Stark, and it involves two different versions of Earth, where two different Wolverines go back in time to try to kill Hank Pym, which is kind of a weird story. Probably would not have worked in the movie, but still is worth mentioning in this movie Face Off. Now, there isn't one particular story where 2012's movie The Avengers is based off. In fact, I think the most accurate one would probably be the very first Avengers comic back in the 60s, where I think it was like a Thor vs. Loki conflict as well. But I'm going to have to give this round to the Avengers because there's really not really one particular source that it's really based off of. So, round one goes to the Avengers. Now it's time for round two, which is role in the cinematic universe. Now, the first Avengers movie is, of course, bringing together the characters for the very first time and to fight against the alien invasion known as the Chitauri. Now, in future movies, this event isn't really mentioned that much. It's like brought up in like Civil War, um, and mentioned a little bit again in Age of Ultron. But as far as movies go, it's never really talked about that much. Well, instead of Iron Man 3, where the events of 2012's The Chitauri is the reason why Tony Stark has this PTSD like behavior. But it's much more referenced in the TV shows, actually, in Netflix, in the Marvel Netflix shows, especially in Jessica Jones. Surprisingly, they really talk about that. And then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of course, gets kicked off right after 2012's The Avengers, so that's a very important event for that show. But Age of Ultron, it's really mentioned a lot more. It's like one of the big reasons why the Sokovia Accords is made for Captain America Civil War. I mean, it's called Sokovia Accords, the name of the very city Ultron tries to use as an actual meteor to destroy the Earth. And of course, while it's not actually mentioned in Netflix Marvel shows, it's mentioned quite a bit in, again, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I'm not sure how many people watched it. I watched it, I thought it's good. But I'm going to have to give this round to Age of Ultron because it just plays into a lot more major events in the MCU. So round two goes to Age of Ultron 1-1. Now time for round three, which is story. The Avengers, it's Loki comes to Earth, he wants to rule the world, brings together the other people such as Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Hawkeye, Black Widow. He summons the Chitauri, come to Earth, the Avengers fight, and they win. The alien invasion, big sky beam. With Age of Ultron, it's like AI created by Tony Stark is meant to protect the world, but sees humanity as the real threat. So Ultron decides to wipe out humanity. Now, in comparison to other like non-comic book or superhero movies, these stories aren't really that original. I mean, there are multiple science fiction movies where aliens come to Earth to try to take over, and then humans band together to stop them, such as Independence Day. And then there are also other movies where robots try to take over the world and humans try to stop it, such as Terminator. As far as which one is more engaging, though, more engaging with the Avengers, it's a nice entertaining movie. It's entertaining. It's got nice action, even a couple of like funny moments, but it's really not that engaging. As you pretty much know that it's going to, end up being them that wins the day. With Age of Ultron, it's again not that original, but somehow it's more engaging. I mean, I kind of feel for Tony Stark because he created Ultron to protect Earth because he has this much skill of causing a lot of conflict and destruction on Earth. He just wants to try to make Earth a better place, and I kind of sympathize with him. And it's surprisingly like still engaging story. Like you throws in a couple of weird things, and you kind of wonder where exactly this is going to go. It keeps you guessing a little bit more, to be honest. So I'm going to have to give round three story to Age of Ultron. 2 points for Age of Ultron so far. Now go on the next round, which are the heroes. Now, the hero roster for both movies are pretty much almost the exact same. You got Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. In Age of Ultron, there's a few additions. Quicksilver, which, who, spoilers, dies by the end of Age of Ultron. And but he's still an interesting character. He's got a couple nice moments in the movie. And then you got Scarlet Witch, who is a nice addition. She really wasn't that big of an interest, and Age of Ultron, she's probably more of an interest in Civil War. But and they never really explain how her powers work in the movies. Like in the comics, she has reality warping, but in Age of Ultron, the closest we got is like she's weird. Like thanks for telling us how those powers work. But we have also Vision, which is basically an AI physical form of Tony Stark's Jarvis, and he's pretty awesome. Like I don't know him from comics. I'm not a big comic book nerd person, but Vision's just really good and really fun. But if I'm going to have to pick which movie probably has a better representation of the team, I'm going to have to go with the Avengers. I mean, it's the first time getting together, the conflict, working stuff out. I mean, it's more to me. I feel like that movie just did a better representation of the original core members. So I'm going to have to go with the Avengers for round four, which is now 2-2. Final round is the villain. Now, on the surface, a lot of people say like, well, Avengers win. I mean, it's Loki. Loki's the only good Marvel villain. And don't get me wrong, Loki is not a bad villain. I mean, he's charismatic, he's got witty comebacks, and okay, I'll admit he is a handsome man, so it's easy to see why a lot of people like him as the villain. But let's look at his motivations. Loki wants to rule. He wants to just be a ruler, be a king. That's not really that original or engaging. I mean, yeah, sure, does it in interesting ways, but he just really wants to either take over Asgard, take over Earth, just rule something. It's not that engaging of motivation. Now, I'm not saying like Ultron's motivations are any more engaging, but he's an AI program to protect the world, and he sees as destroying humanity. Again, not an idea we haven't seen before, but it gets us talking a little bit about what he's doing, and even though he's got a couple witty, mumbling moments, Ultron, when he needs to be intimidating, is pretty damn intimidating. When Loki tries to intimidate, he's more pissed off, which is more creepy, I guess, than really intimidating. And I don't know, with Ultron's motivations and story, it's just you think a little bit more about it. He brings up good points, like saying Captain America's shield is made the most toughest material on the earth and they use it as a frisbee. Like, that's a pretty good point. And it's just, he's a lot more philosophical for an AI than you would expect, especially with that scene, saying the chair in the ruins where he first meets Wanda and Quicksilver. I know this is going to piss a lot of people off, but I'm going to have to give the villain to Ultron. I mean, I'm not saying Loki is not a bad villain. It's just at the end of the day, Loki's motivations are not that original. Ultron's gets you talking a little bit more, and he's just more of an intimidating villain. So 3 points. Age of Ultron. The this movie face off goes to the Age of Ultron. So like, comment, subscribe. Excuse me. And I'll see you next time on another edition of Movie Face Off.